President Trump addressing a meeting at the National Association of Manufacturers in Washington earlier today, declaring that, quote, the era of economic surrender is over. Roll tape.
For decades, the policy of Washington, D.C. on the subject of manufacturing was a policy best summarized in one word: surrender. They surrendered. Under my administration, the era of economic surrender is over, and the rebirth of American industry is beginning. America is winning again.
You know, I've been pointing out all year long signs of a burgeoning renaissance in manufacturing, and it was sparked by the election of Donald Trump. Those animal spirits were seen immediately in optimism surveys, including the National Association of Manufacturers. And as you can see, it's been holding even as GOP leadership has stumbled of late. Here to discuss with me now, Marlin still President Drew Greenblatt, who actually met with President Trump today. Also back with us, Ned Ryun. First of all, Drew, we're going to throw up a photo of you and the president because that was pretty cool stuff, man. Secondly, let me ask you. I look at the data. I look at it very closely, and what we're seeing is indeed a manufacturing renaissance. How important is it now that that parts of the Trump economic agenda go through?
It's hugely important. Our nation, our factories are like a coiled spring. There's such optimism. There's so much cash on the sidelines. That's all going to come off the sidelines. It's going to be invested back into factories, buying new equipment, building new factories, getting more automation, hiring more people. There's a tremendous manufacturing renaissance burgeoning. It's exciting. This is really an optimistic time for us. Matter of fact, the National Association of Manufacturers does a quarterly survey. 3 quarterly surveys in a row since the president was elected have been over 90% on average. It's a stunning number. We're enthusiastic about the new paradigm being unveiled. These tax reforms are going to be huge job creators. We're talking about going from 40% for the small and medium-sized manufacturers, right, 40% tax rate, to 25. This is going to be great.
Right.
So we're going to be investing and growing.
Ned, why does President Trump have to go to red states, to the heartland to sell this? I understand that people want to hear the message, and it's great and to have that enthusiasm, but it feels like he's spending more time selling fellow Republicans than anybody else.
It's kind of a shame, Charles. At some point, some of us are starting to question what's the point of Republican majorities if we can't push through not a Trump agenda, not a Republican agenda, a common sense agenda. This is common sense. If you're taking the corporate tax from 35 to 20, you make us highly competitive. If you take it from 39.40 for small businesses to 25, you're making us highly competitive. You're going to see a 4% growth in the economy. And it is a little frustrating for him to have to do this. But at the same time, after the health care debate, Charles, I don't think he can leave anything to chance. And he should be putting pressure on everybody, Republican and Democrats, to say this is a must. And it's not my agenda. It's a common sense agenda that puts the American people first.
Right.
And again, we want to see the economy grow. We want to see more jobs. The thing that I think is interesting about this, Charles, this tax reform, we don't want an international approach to business tax anymore. We want a territorial. We want more of our money, the revenue, to stay on American shores, to, again, be invested into the American economy. And that's one of the exciting things about this Trump plan.
Drew, you know, as I looked at the survey today from NAM, 2 things stood out. Your point about the 90% average is holding pretty tough there, but small business optimism has come down a lot. It's down to 84% from 92% in the first quarter, the smallest of manufacturers. So these small guys are saying, hey, you know, we're excited, but we need you to hurry up. And regulations aren't the problem. The regulations are why the numbers held up. President Trump, all the actions he's taken. But for the smallest of American manufacturers, the clock is ticking, isn't it?
Well, we need a sense of urgency. We need Capitol Hill to get moving. It's time. I mean, enough talk. We got to get points on the board. We're in the red zone now. It's time to push it through. We got to score. And that means broad-based tax reform. That means simplifying the taxes. That means letting us invest right now and get some testosterone into the system and let's get those animal spirits roaring. What will happen is a lot of jobs will be created.
Yeah.
It's a really exciting time. We're so close.
And that's infectious, right? New jobs beget new jobs. Animal spirits beget animal spirits, and we all rock and roll.